this took me over 25 years in golf to learn. I'll teach it to you in less than 10 minutes. I'm Jon Sherman, the best-selling author of the book, The 4 Foundations of Golf, co-host of the Sweet Spot podcast, and PGA Tour coach. And I'm a golfer just like you. You will never reach your highest level without embracing your driver and irons. It's just not possible. Your wedges and putter are there to enhance your scoring. Your driver and irons define them. The easiest way to think about scoring is that 2/3 of your golf game is going to be determined by your driver and irons, and the remaining third will be your wedges and putter. Your lowest handicap will not come from more birdies. It's actually going to come from fewer double bogeys. If you look at the scoring differentials between a scratch, 10 handicap, or 20 handicap, you're going to see that the better golfers make less double bogeys, not make more birdies. I don't care what level of golf you get to, you're only going to average at most about 1 to maybe 2 birdies per round. Give yourself permission to hit a bad shot. No matter how good you get at this game, you are one swing away from disaster. Accept it and move on. The easiest thing for golfers to do is beat themselves up for mistakes that are absolutely going to happen in every round. The more you can get past these, the more progress you're going to see in your game. You've got to fall in love with grit. A great definition of grit is perseverance and passion for long-term goals. Golf is such a hard game that drives you crazy at times, but your grit is what keeps you focused on a long-term goal of improving. Some people think of it as white-knuckling it through your rounds, but that's not what grit is. It's keeping your eye on a long-term goal. Better golf is all about habits. Some of these could be practicing with intent, choosing smart targets on the course, having a routine before each shot, committing to having fun, and even being grateful to play. You're never gonna get better at this game unless you improve your habits. So when you're setting goals, don't just think about your scoring. Think about the small habits that are going to get you there. Here's strategy in a nutshell. Advance the ball as far as possible off the tee. Aim away from the big trouble like trees, bunkers, and hazards if you can, and then play conservatively with targets pretty much everywhere else. Obviously, strategy can get far more nuanced than that, but that's a very basic way to think about it that can absolutely lower your scores quickly. Putting is mostly about speed control. Yes, you want to hit your lines and learn to read the greens, but speed control will lower your scores the most. Focus on speed when you practice and while you're on the course. Stop obsessing over your line. If you look at the differences between great golfers and okay golfers, the better ones 3-putt less and have better speed control. Keep it simple. Be analytical. Keep track of your stats, especially strokes gained. Stats like fairways hit and putts per round can be incredibly misleading. Review your rounds, take notes. Becoming a more analytical golfer is one of the easiest ways that you're going to hit all of your scoring goals. Club fitting is not just for better players. A scratch golfer can still score well if you gave them the completely wrong set of clubs. They're going to figure it out. Higher handicaps need all the help they can get. Don't make golf harder. I've learned about club fitting for the last decade, and I've seen it in person how much adjusting your driver loft, the center of gravity on your irons, getting the right shaft, can make the game easier for you and improve your impact variables. Don't ignore club fitting if you're a mid to high handicapper. You actually have more to gain at that level. The top 2 skills that will take you to the promised land are quite simple. Where are you striking it on the club face, and can you control the club face at impact? Obsess over them. Work on them all the time. Pay attention to them on every shot. Where did I strike it on the face? Did that shot start to the right or left of my target line? All of the answers are lying in these 2 variables. When you're stuck with pretty much any problem, try to do the exact opposite while practicing. If you're hooking it, try to fade it. Hitting your irons too high, de-loft the club and get your hands ahead of the ball at impact. Striking the toe too much, try to hit it on the heel. This is one of the most creative and effective practice methods a golfer of any level can do. I call it my fight fire with fire method. If you're serious about your golf game, you have to take care of your body. You're going to reduce aches and pains and score better. Work on mobility. For a lot of golfers, their hips are way too tight. Get stronger. Lifting weights is good for you. So many golfers were led to believe that weight training was not a good idea, but I can guarantee you if you do 3 full body workouts for about 20 to 30 minutes a week, you're gonna get more control of your body, swing faster, and reduce injuries. And I love explosiveness training like working with Super Speed Golf or the Stack. If you have some time in your off season, upgrading your body is a great idea for just about any golfer. Every golfer thinks you need to get more complicated, but you need to obsess over simplicity. You don't need more shots, you need less. You don't need 5 swing thoughts, you need 1 at most. Any chance to dumb down this game, take it. That could be with your short game, that could be with your targets around the greens, that could be with your driver. Golfers think complicated is the answer. Trust me, it's not. You've got to go in the other direction. Do not always hit the same shot over and over again while you practice. Switch it up, change targets, and go through a total reset. You can get wild with things and experiment. Hit a big hook, hit a big slice, try and hit your iron irons very high or low. You've got to challenge yourself with games or different contests with yourself. But more importantly, you have to have intent on each shot. What is your shot intention? What is your target? When you check off these basic things when you practice, you're going to be more engaged and transfer skills over to the golf course. I know we're on YouTube right now, and this is going to fall on deaf ears, but you've got to stop it with the swing tips. Your buddies don't have the answer. The random stranger at the driving range definitely doesn't have the answer for you. There's absolutely great info on YouTube and Instagram, but it might not be relevant to your swing. If you keep playing golf swing and making constant changes, you're never going to get better. Better wedge play is not about hitting it to 5 feet and having tap-in par putts. It's about making sure you get it on the putting surface almost every time. Find a technique and focus that allows you to do that and just stick with it. You don't need to be Seve or Phil with 6 different wedge shots. Having one repeatable shot that you're confident you can get on the green and 2-putt is absolutely going to make huge gains in your scoring potential. This is a big one. Watch golf on TV for entertainment, but there's really not that much to learn. They are incredible, but not as good as the broadcasts make them seem. Pro golf has ruined the expectations for so many golfers because you are being shown a highlight reel of the players who are playing best in that moment. If you watched a round of players at the bottom of the leaderboard, you'd see a completely different and more realistic version of what golf looks like. So don't take your cues of what you're seeing on TV. That's not a realistic version of golf, and it definitely is not what better golf looks like for you. Golf is mainly a game of proximity and mistake avoidance. Do these two things more and you're gonna be golden. Get it closer to the hole off the tee. Avoid the big trouble like fairway bunkers, trees, or penalty hazards. Obviously, this is easier said than done, but the blend of these two basic concepts is the framework for a winning strategy on the course. Do not fight the wind. You've got to succumb to it. A headwind will reduce distance more than a tailwind helps you. If you're hitting into the wind, you need to do 2 things. Launch the ball lower with less spin. Taking a 4-iron instead of a 6-iron will do that for you. You do not need a fancy punch shot. The problem golfers get into is when they start trying shots on the course that they haven't practiced enough, and it ends up making bigger mistakes than they gain from it. So again, you need to keep it simple here and just take more club if you're hitting into the wind. If I had to choose one concept from this whole list I'm giving you, this is the one that could lower your scores overnight. If you're in the trees, you have to take your medicine. This is one of the most important stats from Mark Brody's book, Every Shot Counts. PGA Tour players make bogey 80% of the time in a recovery situation. Think of that like being stuck in the trees or being in the deep rough. Your number one goal is to get it back to safety first. If you do this and make bogey most of the time and limit doubles and triples, I guarantee you your scores are going to drop significantly. You've got to know your stock carry yardages with every club in your bag, not how far you think you hit it when you nuke your 7-iron. I'm talking about your standard shot. This is easy to verify with shot tracking systems like Arcos or ShotScope, or getting access to high-end launch monitors like a Foresight GC Quad or TrackMan. Start keeping track of how far you're carrying your 7-iron when you hit average shots. Using this information on the course to pick better clubs and targets is going to lower your scores with approach clubs. If you want to become a better course manager, you need to study a golf course before you show up. This is so easy to do now with Google Maps or apps like 18 Birdies or Shot Pattern. What you really want to do is plan out your tee shots. See where the big trouble is on every hole, and try and make as many decisions as possible before you step on the golf course. What this does is it frees you up and makes you more committed on each swing, so that you're not second guessing yourself when you're stepping up to a tee box or on certain approach shots. Know what you're doing beforehand and you will be more confident over every shot. I'm going to close out the video with I think is perhaps the most important concept of all of these. You have to prioritize fun over everything. Whatever you prioritize, make sure you are having fun. And that looks different for every single golfer. You've got to find your own path, and more importantly, don't take it so seriously. It's just a game. If you've enjoyed this video, all of these concepts are from my best-selling book, The 4 Foundations of Golf. Check it out on Amazon.